Hello, it's Andrew from Lumen Electrical Services here. It's a video today about a very important part of your career as an electrician, if you are thinking about going into the trade, and that is, how much will you be paid? So the rates for an electrician are essentially set out by a body called the SJIB. That's the Scottish Joint Industry Board. And essentially what they do is they give essentially a framework depending on the stage of your career, and just setting out exactly how much you will be getting paid as an electrician or an apprentice or trainee. So let's start at the beginning. So you're a first year electrician and you've been taken on by a company and you started your apprenticeship. So stage one apprentice, you will be on a rate of £6.40 per hour. Now that rate will carry on until stage two, where the rate will go up to £8.60 an hour, just to reflect essentially that increase in competency and responsibility. And once you've finished stage two, you go on to stage three, and the rate you will be paid currently as a third stage apprentice is £10.87 per hour. Now, it's worth bearing in mind that those are the rates you will be paid when you're at work, so you're actually working for the company directly. When you go to college as part of your apprenticeship, the good news is that you still get paid. The bad news is it's slightly less. It's about roughly 5 to 10% less per hour. The rates for being at college, depending on the stage you're at, are all freely available from the SJIB website. There'll be a link for that below. So feel free to have a look at that. Now, once you've finished stage three, you don't go on to stage four, you go on to stage three FICA eligible. Now, the FICA essentially is essentially it's a competency assessment. It stands for something FICA, but I can't remember exactly what that is. It's not particularly important. But essentially, that's your final exam that shows I am now a competent and qualified electrician. So it's important that you pass your FICA, but before you sit your FICA, you are stage three FICA eligible. So your company might keep you on, say, for up to a year or even sometimes a little bit more, just so you can get a little bit more of a foundation in your apprenticeship. So you're truly ready to go for that FICA assessment and enter the big bad world of being an electrician. The rate for a stage three FICA eligible apprentice just now is £12.42 per hour. So quite a good rate at that stage. Now, once you've passed that all-important FICA assessment, the rate for qualified electrician just now, as set out by the SJIB, is £17.90 per hour. Now, one thing to kind of keep in mind with that is that a lot of companies will pay more for people who are essentially better at their job, who might have better experience, or who are much more productive. So I would treat that £17.90 as essentially the base rate to work from. There are kind of other opportunities to earn more money. Most common type is through overtime. So that's either working at the weekends or working in evenings or just simply working more hours. You start to earn time and a half, double time for working certain days, and it can really push your pay packet up. There are often other incentives like a bonus scheme. So say, for example, you're working on a project and the company said, as well as your hourly rate, we need to have this work completed by Friday afternoon. So get the work done, and there's a bonus at the end of it to reflect the fact you've worked hard to get the job done by a deadline. So that's the hourly rate for an electrician as it stands, £17.90 per hour. Now, after you've worked for 2 years as an electrician, 2 years minimum, your company may nominate you to become what's known as an approved electrician. You go away and sit a practical exam called the ACA. That's the Approved Competency Assessment. That is what that stands for. I'm 100% on that. And once you've passed the ACA, you can become much more responsible. You can sign off electrical certificates. You can go into an electrical installation and deem it as being safe or unsafe. You're essentially, you are just taking on that bit more responsibility in your trade. So that's reflected in your hourly rate, and the SJIB rate as it stands for an approved electrician is £19.41 per hour. So there's good money to be made in the trade. It's a good profession to have. And again, I would kind of treat those figures as the base rate, because there's not many electricians, certainly in Edinburgh, who work for that amount of money. Electricians, especially good electricians, in my experience, are a scarcity. So they do attract a higher salary, a higher hourly rate than is set out by the SJIB. But I thought I'd just give you a bit of an insight into how the pay structure works for an electrician in Scotland. Hope that helps. Okay.